What's up, everybody? It's been a while for Dime Dropping NFL Sports, but we're going to get right back into the producing videos. So if you like the channel, like our videos, be sure to subscribe and like the video. I just recorded like 9.5 minutes of this thing, and then my phone died. So this is take 2 of the August 26th training camp update. This is from the last few days, not just August 26th, though. A lot of big news, especially for fantasy football players. Let's get right into it. Big news out of Atlanta. Todd Gurley is going to get at least 15 touches a game. He had 40 touchdowns in that 2-year span a few years ago with a ton of yards. 15 to 25 touches a game is more than enough for Todd Gurley to get you some fantasy points. This puts my stock of him way up. I did not think he was going to have a minimum set like this, but the offensive coordinator says the minimum is going to be 15 touches a game with up to 25 a game. So that's good news for anyone who wants to draft him or has drafted him in their fantasy leagues. Now we go to the Bears. Bad news for some fantasy players. David Montgomery, who was looking really good in training camp, suffered a groin injury. It's playing in the background right now if you just watch that. If not, you can watch it again. It's about a replay, but Bears, David Montgomery just went down. They don't have a lot of depth in that running back room. Look for them to sign Freeman, who used to play in Atlanta, actually. Look for them to sign him because they don't have a lot of depth behind Tariq Cohen, who isn't really a power runner in himself. But now we're going to go down to the Eagles. Quez Watkins, a rookie wide receiver, is looking really good in pads and has been elite in the red zone. Speaking of elite, Carson Wentz compared Jalen Reagor to Julio Jones before walking it back and saying it was just within like the way he plays, not how good he is. But those are two names that if you see them in the same sentence, you should be excited as an Eagles fan or a fan of Jalen Reagor, or if he's on your fantasy team or whatever. Now we're going to go to their divisional rival, the New York Giants. Jason Garrett, new offensive coordinator, is excited to use Evan Engram. He said the Cowboys recruited him or scouted him heavily and liked him out of college, but they obviously weren't able to draft him. And now the Los Angeles Chargers. Should be San Diego. I don't even know why they left. They have no fans up there. The Los Angeles Chargers, Mike Williams, up-and-coming wide receiver, is questionable for week 1 with a week-to-week injury. That's a tough blow for them, especially as they try to get their rookie quarterback, Justin Herbert, or their veteran quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, into the mix and get going early during week 1 for the Chargers, who just lost Phillip Rivers. Now we go to the Browns. OBJ says Baker looks way better this year and is in much better shape. He said Baker has a 4-pack now, so maybe next year he'll have a 6-pack. 6-pack Baker would be crazy. And now we go to the Packers. More quarterback news. Jordan Love is looking really bad and inaccurate in training camp. This doesn't come as a surprise to me. It shouldn't really to you. Out of college, he wasn't accurate. That was his biggest knock. He's more of a talent and project guy. For Jordan Love, he's not an accurate guy like Aaron Rodgers, who just throws dimes all day. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to worry about his job being taken by Jordan Love, as he cannot throw accurately right now, just to keep it blunt, in training camp. And now we go to the Steelers, another team up north, back to the AFC. Chase Claypool is looking good with his connection to Big Ben, whose timing is still off based on just not having a lot of practice with his new wide receivers who have came in after being injured all of last year. And being in pads is just much different timing than just throwing around in shorts and shells or shorts and a helmet. Now we go to the Washington football team. Dan Snyder is under investigation for some crazy stuff about like nude photos from his cheerleaders and stuff on his calendar, which is just kind of weird. But Alex Smith is looking healthy and looking good running, so that's good news for him. He's going to have to fight for the backup job with Kyle Allen. Dwayne Haskins looked to have locked up the starting job by now. Now we go to the Jaguars. Rookie tight end Tyler Davis is being called Baby Gronk. I feel like Gronk is way too popular to be compared to for tight ends. No one's going to be as good as Gronk, obviously. And I just feel like everyone gets compared to him, and it's honestly pretty annoying. But we're going to go to another tight end who maybe will be as good as Gronk one day, Albert whatever on the Broncos. Sorry for mispronouncing his last name, but I had to look at it to spell it. He's going to be is going to be on the roster this year and could be a stud if he keeps up his progression with his frame and speed at 6'5". He looks to be a future stud in the NFL. He was a beast on my Madden team as well, if you've been watching any of the live streams on the channel. Now we go to Miami. Tua was looking really good. That was news on 8/24. Jakeem Grant is banged up today in training camp, and Josh Rosen is also looking good. He didn't request a trade this offseason, which many thought he would, in a crowded quarterback room with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua. Tua's a star, and Fitzpatrick has been teaching Josh Rosen as he tries to get back into a starting role as he was in his rookie year with the Cardinals, which obviously didn't go well as they got the number 1 pick and sent him off and took Kyler Murray, who's now having great success as a breakout candidate this year in the NFL. Now we go to the Colts. Phillip Rivers' new squad. Marlon Mack still considered the starting running back, so that Johnathan Taylor hype needs to be bumped down a little bit. I think he's going to be good, but I don't see him as a top 15, maybe not even a top 20 running back this year, just because he's not the starter. He's going to be splitting carries, so that upside's going to be limited, although the offense does look to be good this year. Someone said Trey Burton's going to catch 90 balls this year. That's an unnamed media member. I don't see any truth to it, but I figured I'd tell you since it was out there. And Paris Campbell was in a car accident, which leads him to a concussion protocol. Tough news for him in that offense, as they need more depth behind T.Y. Hilton. A stud wide receiver, Michael Pittman, will be bumped up a lot of draft boards, though, in fantasy. The Jets' offense looks terrible, but Sam Darnold is looking to Chris Herndon, the tight end sleeper for many people. He's climbing up my boards and everyone else's. Every time Sam Darnold's a seeing ghost, he's hitting his tight end Herndon up the seam or wherever he's at. He's his number 1 receiver out of all the wide receivers and tight ends that he's looking for, so that is a name to keep up with if you're drafting tight ends late in the draft this year. Now we go on to the Patriots. Sony Michel came back to practice after being banged up, and he's looking really good, looking fast and looking quick out of his breaks. He's in a position battle right now with Damian Harris, a second-year running back out of Alabama, who the Patriots took 2 years ago. J.J. Taylor, another running back you probably haven't heard of yet, looks like Dion Lewis with his quickness and his cuts. He's a very small running back. He's being compared to Dion Lewis by most people, and he can split out as a wide receiver just like Dion Lewis could. Dion Lewis has fallen off recently after all of his injuries, but before that, he was so good, especially in that playoff game I remember versus the Texans. He was very good. And now, after the Patriots, we're going to the Cardinals. Kenyon Drake and DeAndre Hopkins are still out with injuries or something. Cliff Kingsbury says they're just out for maintenance, but I don't believe in that. He says they're trying to get ready for week 1, so hopefully they're still healthy. They're just resting for week 1. And now in Seattle, Chris Carson, their running back, is back in uniform, back at practice after family issues, so hopefully everything's all good there. And Philip Dorsett is out, who is looking to be their number 3 wide receiver after leaving the Patriots last year. Now we're switching over to the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill, their speedy wide receiver, is still limited. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is looking like a star in fantasy. A lot of people are taking him over Derrick Henry. I'm not supporting that. I think he's good, but late first-round pick for me. Not over those elite-level running backs that I mentioned, like Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, any of those guys like that. Now we're going to the Bengals, who have Joe Mixon. I think he might go over Joe Mixon, but Joe Burrow is looking very good as a player and as a leader with quick progressions in command of that offense. And in that division, the Ravens rookie J.K. Dobbins' stock is rising, and he's going to have a role in week 1. Mark Ingram is still the starter there, and Gus Edwards is still going to get his carries, but J.K. Dobbins, I'm going to guess, is going to be their number 2 running back to start the season, and then at the end of the year, it's anyone's guess. Based on his development, many people thought he was the number 1 running back in the draft this season. And Mark Andrews, their star tight end, is going to get a lot of targets this year. I think people need to bump his stock up in fantasy a lot. That star tight end on your roster is a big help, especially over the rest of your league, who will be stuck with low tight ends who don't get a lot of points. A lot of them are touchdown dependent. He's going to get yards and receptions no matter what. So he's a player you got to look for in your drafts. Thanks for coming up to this video, guys. We're posting a lot more now. We were just gone for the past few days on vacation, but we're getting back into the grind. So if you enjoyed this video, join the Discord in the description, subscribe to the channel, and as always, like the video. See you next time. The video's coming soon. Thanks for watching.